Hi, Dr. Rutherford here. So, okay, as many of you know, I go to a lot of these classes. I have a lot of mentors who are just really amazing, and they keep doing research. And I went to a class like maybe 3 years ago, and one of the things that you'll hear me say when it comes to these relatively complex cases by the time a person gets here is sometimes it's not about the sexy stuff, okay? Sometimes it's about really basic stuff like oxygen or blood sugar. I've had people where we've gotten their blood pressure up, gotten enough oxygen to their brain and their extremities and their feet and their gut, and all of a sudden, like, all these kind of crazy things started getting better. We have presentations on that. Same thing with blood sugar. So we're going to kind of hit oxygen today from a different angle. We're going to hit it from sleep. Okay, and sleep is very, very, very important to getting well. And I could go on with that forever. I read a little book, like I think in 2002. It was just Power Health, back to basics. And it really was more for my chiropractic patients who just kept asking me why they weren't holding their adjustments. I said, well, you eat like crap, you don't sleep, you don't exercise, and a bunch of things like that. So sleep's a broad topic, but I went to this seminar, I think it was about 3 years ago, and the doctor made the point about oxygen and blood sugar, and I was like, yeah, I already get this. I've been like doing this forever. But then he said something I'd never heard before. He said, don't miss the sleep apnea. He said, if you miss sleep apnea, you're screwed. You already have no chance of getting this patient where you could get them, because people need oxygen. You need oxygen to every cell in your body. And then that went back all the way to my very, 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 very first class I ever took on functional medicine, which was a long time ago. And the doctor said, if you can't make energy in your cells, you can't get the person well. You can't get them back to balance. A lot of the patients coming in lately say, I just want to get back to balance. You can't get homeostasis back, because you need these mitochondria in your cells to make oxygen. Okay, it needs oxygen, the mitochondria need oxygen to make energy so you can get better. Those of you who hit the wall, I have a good day and I go out and I crash, this is part of the reason. You don't have enough oxygen going to your cells, and your mitochondria are just crashing. It's part of the reason, okay? And the sleep apnea comment by this teaching doctor, kind of like, I was like, sleep apnea, now I got to check everybody for sleep apnea. Like, oh my God, geez. So I dutifully go home and do these things because these are smart people. And every time I go to these particular people's classes and they say something, it turns out being valuable data. So I start checking everybody for sleep apnea. Oh my God. I mean, I think 40% of the people who come in here have sleep apnea. And basically it's on the intake form. Do you have sleep apnea? Yes. Do you have your CPAP? Well, yes. Do you use it? Sometimes. So I really started to get it, because then I started pushing for people to get a little bit friendlier with their CPAP machines, and started really seeing results. Some are miraculous results, some mild results, moderate results. It's one of like 39 different things that you need to like investigate relative to a Hashimoto's case. So sleep apnea is a big deal, because what happens is when you're having your sleep interrupted, basically what it does is it actually injures your cells. So your cells need oxygen. Everything needs oxygen. Like every single one of your trillions of cells need oxygen. And when you deprive it of oxygen, they start to get injured. Those intermittent injuries then cause inflammation. And then inflammation in turn does a ton of things. And every one of those ton of things creates a potential response, overreaction of your immune system, an inflammatory response, and then that alters thyroid function. In fact, it's been shown to increase your thyroid hormone T4, your thyroid hormone T3, and your reverse T3, which a lot of people don't take seriously, but it's a thyroid marker, and it represents, in theory, stored thyroid hormone in your intestines, and if that goes up, you're going to have less thyroid hormone available to you. And so if the other two go up, you might be hyperactive. So it directly messes with your thyroid hormone. Now the interesting part is the latest study showed this might be bidirectional. It might be that your thyroid is actually contributing to causing sleep apnea. Now, I have had lots of patients come in here and have their sleep apnea go away by addressing all of the triggers and all of the things necessary to address their particular problem relative to what's causing their thyroid to flare up. And I always assumed it was because most patients come in here in those circumstances are overweight, and it's always been kind of known that when you get the weight off, the person breathes better, they don't have as much obstruction, or everything works better. But it turns out that it's entirely possible that it's also because the thyroid inflammatory markers that are causing your thyroid to go off, the ones I just talked about, the T3, T4 going up, the reverse T3 going down. It's also entirely possible that that is a part of what's causing your sleep apnea. So because of this cellular destruction that takes place when you deprive the cells of oxygen. So sleep apnea is big. And it actually is very big. It's almost like there's certain things that I know, like oxygen, sleep, and blood sugar. Those of you who've watched a lot of my videos, you'll know those are baseline kind of standards that I look for to stabilize before I do anything else, because every cell in your body needs blood sugar, every cell in your body needs oxygen. I would argue that if you're going to a functional medicine practitioner that doesn't understand that, I wouldn't go to that. It's basic. It's basic to functional medicine. It's basic to homeopathy. It's basic to nitrites. It's like follow the fuel. It's like fix the sugar and fix the oxygen first. Sleep apnea is oxygen deprivation at its very best. It's like second only to anemia in depriving you of oxygen. So if you have sleep apnea, you should be using your CPAP machines. And this is not only a treatment for your sleep, but it is definitely a treatment for helping you to get your Hashimoto's under control. It might be one of 5 or 6 major areas for you as a patient who has Hashimoto's, but you'll notice I use the term major areas. And those major areas are what you want to attack once you've developed the understanding of these are the 5 major areas for this person. That's what you want to attack. That's how you go after one of these cases. So sleep apnea, it's just so important. If you have sleep apnea, if you think you have sleep apnea, if your spouse is telling you that you snore all the time, and that you wake up, or that you stop breathing, those types of things, okay, you should go get checked for sleep apnea. And the devices, I understand, are getting better and better, and they have smaller devices, and they're making the masks better, and so on and so forth. So, but it's about Hashimoto's, and frankly, it's about autoimmunity in general. For those of you who may have other autoimmune problems along with it, rheumatoid arthritis, celiac, ulcerative colitis, all that, lupus, all those things. Sleep apnea is a big player, and it should be treated as such. So that's my presentation for today, and take this one to heart. I've seen it be game changer in I'd say 1/3 of the cases that people have come in here with, and in all cases, there's been improvement in areas of managing the case once that person started on their CPAP machine. Okay? All right, that's it for today.